compiler will convert entire program into low level language at a time, but interpreter will convert line by line code of program into low level language. Okay, so if we have written 20 lines of code, so each and every line, so line by line, interpreter is going to converting into low level language. Okay, anyhow, we are not dealing with the interpreter in the C language, so we just going to discuss about compiler only. And also these translators are also called what? Softwares. Okay, so these are all not system software, these are all application softwares. Compiler is also one of the software only. Okay, compiler will do translation, right? And one more translator is there, so that is called what? Assembler. The purpose of assembler is, already we have discussed about assembly language also. The assembler will convert assembly language into low level language. Assembly language into low level language. Low level language is here same, that is binary language only, but the thing is assembly language is different. How it will be different? So these high level languages are written in terms of human understandable way, but assembly language is written in terms of symbolic codes. Symbolic codes means so those are called instructions or mnemonics. Okay, this is about assembler. Assembler will convert only assembly language into binary language or else mission level language. Compiler will convert high level language into low level language at a time. The entire program will be converting into at a time with the help of compiler. If you use interpreter, line by line code will be converting into a low level language. That is the basic difference between a compiler and interpreter. So before that, we have to understand file extensions with respect to C language. We can see now. Suppose we have written one program called sample C program, right? Whatever it may be, logic may be anything. So whatever the required logic, we are going to write sample dot C. So yesterday we have already seen that why I kept dot C here. Okay, the basic intention is to provide dot is, that is extension. That means C compiler. C compiler is nothing but what? C software will understands only dot C as an extension. If a file contains dot C as an extension, so those files only it will treat it as a C programs. So whatever the source code we have written here, we are going to write a number of lines of code. So whatever it may be, C language. After learning the C language, we are going to write. Then let it be sample.c is nothing but whatever the source code, a program or written code. The first file will be in the form of .c as an extension. Okay. So once if a compiler compiles the code, whatever the code, so compilation is nothing but what? Converting one format of code into another format of code. So once a compiler will convert the codes, then immediately this code, high level language code, will be in terms of English. Okay, English means it consists of alphabets and special symbols and numeric values from 0 to 9 digits. Okay, that is the high level language. So after compilation, compiler will generate so these files. What is the file? Sample.c. This sample.c file will be converting into one more format, that is called what? Object file format. So file name will be same only, sample.obj. Here a small thing. So .obj is not in human readable format. Not in human readable format. That will be in other format, unreadable format, or I can say some encrypted format. This is the program is in terms of high level language. After compilation, the program file format will be some other format, that is called what? Object format. Okay, which is unreadable format. Okay, next again after this, so whatever the object file is generated, then it's going to generate one more file format, that is called what? Exe file format. Same thing only, sample.exe. That means executable file format. So already we have seen yesterday's OS understandable file format is .exe. That means Windows operating system understandable file format is .exe. Okay. That means after compiling the program, source code converted into object code. So these object code again going to running and which will be submitting into operating system. That means what? That is a platform. Okay. There Windows operating system understandable only .exe format files only. Okay. These are all three types of C files. Okay. So this is only C file only. After compilation, it will be converting into object format. Then after it will be converting into .exe format. Just keep that in mind. C.C, if a program having .c as an extension, that is a source code. If a program having .obj is an extension, that is compiled code. If a program consists of .exe as an extension, then it is, we have seen that platform, right? Platform is nothing but hardware, the combination of hardware and software, where we can run the programs, where we can write and execute the programs. Programs in the sense, here we just assume that C programming only, right? C programming. So whatever the C programming, C programs we are going to write in a computer. Suppose we have 4 computers. Just assume that we have 4 computers. I have installed Windows operating system in my computer, and some other guy. So you guys are installed Linux operating system, and one more guy is installed Windows again, and one more guy is Mac OS. Okay, so different operating systems these guys are have in their systems. Okay, but I have Windows operating system only. Okay, C program, wherever you go, syntaxes are same. Okay, syntax means some rules. Okay, if you take English language, there some set of rules are called what? Grammar. Wherever you can speak in English, wherever you can write English, so the grammar must be same only, right? So whichever it may be, so the language may be any high level language, the grammar must be same, or the rules must be same. I have written sample.c C program in my operating system. So that is what? Windows operating system. Okay, and then I compile that program. Compile means I am going to converting human understandable language, that is sample.c format into sample.obj format. Here compiler is an software, right? A set of instructions only. So the role of compiler is converting C language from source code into mission understandable code. Okay, that may be sample.obj. Okay, so I have written and compiled my program sample.c program in Windows operating system, and then so I am going to execute the object file. That means sample.obj file I am going to execute into some other system. Suppose if you have Linux operating system, not source code here. So just keep that in your mind. I am not executing source code into some other operating system. If I want to execute source code into Linux operating system, again I need this compiler in Linux operating system. I must install Linux operating system supported compiler for C language. Okay, now I have installed in my system, that is a compiler in operating system called Windows operating system, and again I am going to execute that object format file into Linux operating system. It won't allow you to execute. So if that is the case, this same object format file again I am going to execute in Windows operating system. Then it can happily execute the object file. So without compiling again source code, directly it will executing. So with the help of Windows operating systems, because already this source code I have written and implemented in Windows operating system and compiled in Windows operating system, then the same object code I am going to execute in Windows operating system only. So that's why it's going to execute the same object format. I mean, if the same .obj file I am going to executing in Mac OS. Okay, this is another platform, right? So it will not allow you to execute the object file. That means just we have seen that a combination of hardware components and software, that is operating system and set of hardware components, that is called what? Platform. I can say Windows operating system installed computer is a one platform, Linux operating system installed computer is an another platform. So again, Windows operating system installed computer is an another platform, Mac OS installed computer is an another platform. Like this, different platforms. Okay, I am not able to execute compiled code in other operating system installed computers, that means other platforms. So if I use to compile a source code in Windows operating system, same operating system only I require to execute the compiled code. Okay, so that is called what? Platform dependency. That means Windows operating system compatible with Windows operating system compiled code only. So other than Windows operating systems, there is no other platforms will allow you to run the programs. I'm not saying that again we are not able to write and execute C programs in Linux OS. Definitely it will be, but there again you need to write the source code and you need to compile it in your same Linux operating system only. Then there itself you have to execute. Once compiled code of one platform will not be executed in another platform. That is called what? C programming language was introduced in the year of 1972. C programming language was introduced in the year of 1972 by Dennis Ritchie, a scientist called Dennis Ritchie at Bell Laboratories. Just this is a theory part. Just I'm explaining it through slide only, so don't worry about it. C. So if you take C language, before C language also some of the languages are exist. With the help of those languages, by taking the references of those languages only, they have launched this C programming language. So first C language was introduced in the year of 1972 by Dennis Ritchie, scientist. Okay. So at Bell Laboratories, AT&T is a corporation name, American Telephone and Telegraph Corporation, so located in US. Charles Babbage invented computer. That's why still we are saying the Pitamaha of computer is Charles Babbage only. Like that, who invented C language very first? So he is none other than Dennis Ritchie. That's why Dennis Ritchie is also called founder of C language and Pitamaha of C language, right? So already some of the existing languages are there. So with the reference of those languages only, they have taken some references and they have invented C language. So before C language, there are some languages. That is the term alphabet C. Before C, some B exists. No, that's why that language name is also B only. Okay. Before C, B was existed. B and BCPL, Basic Combined Programming Language. The full form of B is inheriting the features. And I mean, so already some programming languages there. They have taken all the references of that programming language, and to overcome, so whatever the bugs, whatever the problems they have identified in the B and BCPL, so those should be overridden or else inherited. So overcome by C language in the year of 1972. Okay, B and BCPL languages are before C. Mentioned the versions, I mean the programming languages and invented years. So, I mean released years. Okay, just before C also, C means Dennis Ritchie invented C programming name is traditional C. Okay, that was invented in the year of 1972. Before that, there should be a BCPL, Basic Combined Programming Language, that was invented in 1967. Before that, one more programming language is there, that is Algol. Just observe, guys. Here, the word called A, then after B, then after B. I mean simplest form of B. Algol, BCPL, B, then after C. Okay. So that is traditional C. It was 1972. Here some of the names also I have written. Okay. Inventors are invented groups. Okay. So the company names are else the programmer names. Right. So these are all the versions. So you can just go through it. Any programming language we are going to learn to develop an applications. Applications are softwares. Softwares are applications. Applications means what? The collection of programs which are used to perform a user specific task. Okay. So in the same manner, this C language also used to develop some applications only. Okay. So which type of applications? Where the C language is using, still C language is using in some of the applications, some of the organizations. Okay. So let me see one by one. Okay. In general, I can define C is a high level language, right? We already seen the term called high level language. Human understandable language, that is called what? C language. So that's why C is a high level language. General purpose language means this is the base language for all other languages. In general, if you learn the C language, you will be able to learn any sort of other languages also. Okay. And one more term, procedure oriented language. Procedure means what? Can anybody? Procedure, subroutine, or I can say subroutine procedures. Don't know? Okay, fine. If I have two numbers, I can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division itself. Okay, so 2 plus 3 and 2 minus 3 and 2 into 3 and 2 divided by 3. So like that, just suppose 3 divided by 2. Like this, I'm going to perform operation. I need to write a program in C language to perform all these operations, right? I can perform all these operations in one single program, not an issue. I can write the code for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and the division itself in one single program. I have written, but in future I don't want these two operations, that is multiplication and division. I don't want. If I have written entire logic in one program only, but I don't want these two operations. Anyways, if you are using these operations or if you are not using, irrespective of that thing, you must compile this code and then you are going to execute the code. Okay. So once if you compile the code, all the lines of code, all source lines of code, whatever you have written in C program, that should be converting into object format, I mean .obj format. So whatever it may be, if you have 20 lines code will be compiled at a time. 100 lines means 100 lines of code will be compiled at a time. This is the thing what exactly happening. Okay. If I don't want some of the functionalities inside there, so in future, then there is no chance to get only required features of that. So that is the reason why they have invented some concept called functions. So these are also called subroutines. Functions or subroutines. Okay, whatever it may be, these are also called procedures. Within one program only, I can write different logics separately with the help of functions. I mean different functions I am going to write. For addition operation I am going to write one function, same within same program only. For subtraction I am going to write one function. For multiplication I am going to write another function, like that. So if I want 4 functions result, I mean if I want to retrieve all the results of operations, okay, whatever addition, subtraction, multiplication, if I want to retrieve the result, I can happily use the 4 functions. If I want to access only 2 functions, I mean 2 operations only I need now, as of now. So in future I need another 2. So at the time you can access only these 2 functions only. Okay, you can access only these 2 functions. So based upon your requirement, there should be some classification. I mean the program is divided into some modules, some functions. Okay, this scenario is called what? A procedure. Okay, a procedure or else a function or else a subroutine. Okay, so like this the C programming is divided into number of functions or number of subroutines, number of modules. That's why it is called procedure oriented language. Okay, this is the base language for all language. That's why it is also called mother language to the all other language. Okay, mother language, because base languages are called mother language, because father of computers and father of C language, like that, they have given the text, I mean the name mother language. Okay, don't think so. This is just a brief definition about C language. You can frame any of the ways how you understand the C language. Okay, C is a, first thing you have to know, C is a high level language. That's the procedure oriented language. In future you will get to know object oriented programming language also. There you can differentiate what is the procedure and what is the object oriented programming language, right? So next, and where this C programming is using. Okay, C programming languages can be used to design compilers. Just now we have seen one software application called compilers, right? The responsibility of compilers are converting one type of language into another type of language. That means high level language into low level languages, right? To develop, to build such type of applications or such type of software, C programming language is using. Not only for C compilers, man. So that should be for any other compilers, I mean C++ compilers, or it may be Java compilers, or it may be some other online compilers also. Okay, for that purpose they are using this programming language. So, and Unix kernels. Kernel is nothing but a user interface, I think. Okay, normally if you are opening command prompt, right, in Windows operating system, so like a kernel, like command prompt, so there should be kernels in Unix and Linux platforms. There you are not able to see the icons and all those things. So just if you are accessing one file, definitely you should write one command like open some file name. So like that you have to write. Okay, so to implement, to develop a kernel, it is also software only. Operating system is also software, but it is a system software. Unix is also system software. To develop such type of software, this C language is using. Even nowadays also completely kernels are developing by using C language only. Okay, so it can be used to design operating systems. Just now we have seen. Okay, to design net